Good morning, beautiful souls. Today, I want to talk about something we all chase: happiness. Not the temporary kind that fades with the sunset, but the kind that sticks with you, holds your hand, and walks you through every moment, even the hard ones. You see, happiness isn't a destination. It's not waiting for you at the end of your goals. It's not hidden in someone else's approval. It's not buried in a promotion, a relationship, or a number in your bank account. You have to wake up and command your joy. Speak over your day. Prophecy over your heart. Say it with boldness. Today, I choose to be happy, regardless of what comes. Because joy isn't about what happens to you. It's about what you let happen in you. Life will press you. People will disappoint you. The world will try to define you. But every single day, you are given the power to say, "No, I will define this day. I will lead my heart, not follow my feelings." So don't wait for happiness to find you. Go after it. Declare it. Create it. You were not created to live defeated, discouraged, and drained. You were created to rise, to shine, and to walk in joy daily. Happiness isn't a myth. It's a mindset. Let's embrace it. Every day we wake up and face 1,000 voices, expectations, responsibilities, insecurities, and endless distractions. They compete for our attention, our time, our energy. Somewhere in the noise, we often find ourselves asking one quiet, persistent question. It's a fair question. But the answer may not be what the world has been telling us. We've been conditioned to see happiness as a final reward, a finish line we cross once everything in life finally falls into place. We tell ourselves, we live like happiness is out there, waiting for us at the end of a perfect plan. Like it's hiding in the next chapter of our story. And until we get there, we're just surviving, just existing. But here's the truth. Happiness isn't a destination. It's a decision, a daily decision. It's something you wake up and choose. Even when it's hard. Even when life hasn't gone the way you hoped. Even when you're still waiting for answers, for healing, for breakthrough. You don't have to wait for life to be perfect to be happy. You don't have to wait until the pain stops. You don't have to wait until people approve of you. You don't have to wait until you have all the money, all the opportunities, or all the love you think you need. Because happiness isn't just feeling, it's a posture, a mindset, a form of spiritual and emotional discipline. The battle for happiness begins the moment you open your eyes. Before the world tries to define your day, you must define it. Before anxiety rushes in, before the news floods your mind, before social media tells you what you're missing, you set the tone. Speak life over your day before life starts speaking at you. Say this with intention: today I choose peace. Today I choose joy. I choose to be present. I choose to be thankful. I choose to look for the good. This is not denial, it's determination. It's not that you're pretending everything is okay. It's that you're refusing to let what's not okay steal everything that still is. You don't stumble into happiness. You build it. You fight for it. You protect it. We often think the happiest people are those with the least problems. But it's rarely true. The happiest people are those who have trained their minds to focus on light even when surrounded by shadows. They've learned the discipline of gratitude, the art of letting go, the courage of forgiving, the beauty of slowing down, the strength of perspective. They don't ignore their struggles, but they refuse to let their struggles become their identity. They're not ruled by circumstance. Because they've learned that joy comes from within, not from what's around them. And that's good news. Because you can't always control what happens around you, but you can absolutely control how you respond, because deep. Some people are waiting for the world to give them permission to be joyful. They're waiting for their boss to validate them, their partner to fulfill them, their past to let go of them. But here's the powerful truth. You don't need permission to be happy. You need conviction. You need to stop looking outward and start looking inward. Everything you need to cultivate real joy is already inside you, and you keep choosing, again and again and again, to be happy until happiness becomes your nature, not just your goal. Happiness isn't waiting for you at the end of your journey. It is the journey. It's the mindset you build along the way. It's the peace you protect, the faith you cultivate, the joy you declare. So don't wait another day to start living it. Wake up, look around, look within, and choose to be happy. Not someday, but every day. There is something powerful, something deeply sacred about the way we speak. The words we choose are not just sounds that pass through our lips. They are seeds, and every seed produces fruit. What you say has the power to shift atmospheres, to command peace, to stir hope, to restore perspective, and yes, to shape your day before it even begins. You don't need a microphone to preach over your life. You just need intention. You need to decide that the first voice you hear each morning will be your own, full of truth, strength, grace, and authority. Because if you don't speak over your day, something else will. The world will. Your fears will. Your past will. Your inner critic will. And all of those voices will try to hijack your morning, dictate your mood, and define your worth. If you let them. But you weren't meant to live on defense. You weren't created to spend each day reacting to circumstances. You were designed to rise with clarity, to move with purpose, and to speak life into your day before life speaks into you. There is something spiritual and emotional that happens when you speak with intention, when you declare hope, when you command peace, when you confront fear not with silence, but with sound. Your voice carries weight, not because it's louder than the noise, but because it comes from a place of authority, your inner truth, your beliefs, your values. Every morning is a fresh page, and your words are the first ink on the paper. Think about that. Before your feet hit the floor, before you check your phone, before the world starts tugging at you, you get to decide how that day begins. And it begins with what you say. You're not just throwing words into the air. You're shaping the atmosphere of your life. You're setting the tone of your heart. You're building the framework for how you will interpret and respond to everything that comes your way. Take a moment and reflect. What are the first words you usually speak over yourself when you wake up? Are they full of worry? You may not realize it. But that morning narrative becomes the filter through which you experience the entire day. That's why intentional speech matters. Because your words are not just commentary. They are commands. You're not waiting for the day to bring you peace. You're speaking peace into the day. You're not waiting for circumstances to align. You're aligning yourself with a higher truth, one that isn't shaken by emotions or circumstances. The more you speak life, the more it sinks in. It becomes internalized. It becomes part of how you see the world and how you see yourself. Even if you don't fully believe it yet, say it anyway. Speak to your fears until they shrink. Speak to your doubts until they dissolve. Speak to your dreams until they feel reachable again. It might feel strange at first. It might feel awkward. But every day you do it, you are building a stronger foundation within yourself. Your words create your mindset. Your mindset creates your responses. Your responses create your results. And it all begins with what you say when no one's listening but you. Life is unpredictable. You never know what a day will bring. Challenges, surprises, interruptions. But your morning declarations become your compass. They point you back to your true north when the day tries to push you off course. They keep you anchored when everything else tries to shake you loose. So even when things feel uncertain, when the pressure hits, you'll find yourself returning to those declarations like a lifeline. Some of the most powerful healing you'll ever experience won't come from someone else's words. They'll come from your own. When you start replacing self-criticism with compassion, when you start swapping blame for grace, when you stop calling yourself names and start calling yourself whole. You don't need to be perfect to speak power over your life. You just need to be willing. Willing to try a new way. Willing to believe that you deserve joy. Willing to speak from faith instead of fear. Don't just speak reactively. Speak prophetically. Declare not only what is, but what can be. I'm not just surviving. I'm growing. This situation is temporary, but my strength is eternal. I'm walking into favor, into healing, into purpose. Speak over your future as if it's already unfolding, because in many ways it is. Your words are paving the road ahead. Your morning voice matters. Not because it changes what happens outside of you, but because it transforms what's happening inside of you. So before the day starts, before the emails, before the obligations, before the noise, pause, breathe, and speak. Because when you speak over your day with intention and power, you're not just creating better mornings. You're creating a better life. We live in a world that teaches us to look outward for everything. Success, love, validation, peace, and most of all, joy. We're told, almost from birth, that happiness is something to be acquired, something earned, something you chase down and capture like a prize. It's a subtle but dangerous lie. The idea that joy lives outside of you. And the more you believe that, the more you find yourself trapped in a cycle, always reaching, always striving, always hoping the next achievement will finally unlock that lasting sense of happiness. But it doesn't, not really. Because joy is not an external reward. Joy is an internal reality. When your joy is tied to the external, it's fragile. It's dependent on things you can't fully control: the economy, your job, your relationships, your health, the behavior of others, or even the weather. If your joy is based on how much money is in your account, then what happens when you go through a financial hardship? If your joy is tied to how others treat you, what happens when people disappoint you? As they inevitably will. If your joy depends on everything being just right, then you'll constantly be waiting, adjusting, or recovering from disappointment. That's the problem with building joy on unstable ground. It shifts with every storm. True joy, however, is like a tree rooted deep beneath the surface. No matter how hard the wind blows, no matter how much the seasons change, it stands firm, because its source isn't above the ground, it's hidden within. Real joy doesn't scream. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't come dressed in flashy things or grand achievements. It whispers quietly within you, I am still here. Joy is what remains when the noise stops. It's the stillness under the chaos. It's the light that refuses to go out, even when the night is long. And here's the truth: you already have access to it. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to deserve it. You don't need to chase it. You simply need to return to it. Joy is not something you find outside of yourself. Sometimes we confuse joy with comfort, or pleasure, or ease. We think joy is the feeling we get when everything goes our way. But joy can exist even when nothing goes our way. It's deeper than momentary happiness. Joy doesn't deny pain. It coexists with it. It's the smile in the middle of tears. It's the hope that still flickers in the dark. It's the laughter that bubbles up for no reason at all. Even on the hardest day, you can lose the job and still feel joy. You can grieve and still feel joy. You can sit in uncertainty and still feel joy. That's the beauty of it. It's untouchable by circumstance. When you realize that, you stop chasing perfect moments. You stop waiting for joy to arrive and start learning how to hold it, grow it, and protect it right where you are. While joy is internal, it doesn't mean it's automatic. You have to be intentional. You have to create space for it. You have to protect it, especially in a world that constantly tries to steal it. That means unplugging from the noise long enough to hear your own soul. It means learning to enjoy your own company, learning to celebrate small moments, learning to find beauty in the mundane. Joy isn't always loud. Sometimes it's as quiet as sipping tea in the morning, watching the sky change colors, hearing the laughter of your child, or breathing deeply before the day begins. Joy is in the noticing, the presence, the gratitude, the surrender. It's in those small, sacred pauses where you remember this is enough, I am enough, life is still good, in a world that tells you to be anxious, to compete, to compare, to strive harder and want more. Joy becomes an act of rebellion. To say, I am content, is radical. To say, I am joyful right now, even without everything I want, is powerful. Because you're no longer controlled by what the world values. You've tapped into something deeper, something eternal, something the world can't give and therefore can't take away. Joy becomes your strength, your secret weapon, your shield, your fire. Not because life is perfect, but because your perspective is. We often think joy comes after the struggle, after the healing, after the breakthrough. But what if joy is what carries you through the struggle? Joy keeps you hopeful when you're waiting. It keeps you resilient when you're tired. It keeps you soft when life tries to harden you. Joy doesn't ask for permission to exist. It shows up anyway, in the middle of the mess, in the broken parts, in the rebuilding, in the in-between. When you stop waiting for your life to be polished and instead embrace joy in progress, you become unshakable. You've spent too long looking outward, too long asking, when will I feel good again? Or, what do I need to fix out there to feel better in here? You are not empty. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. Within you is peace. Within you is light. Within you is joy. Yes, it may be buried beneath disappointment, grief, or exhaustion. But it is there, and it is waiting for you to notice it, to nourish it, to believe in it again. You don't need a new house, new car, new body, new relationship, or new job to feel joy. You just need a new lens, a new rhythm, a new relationship with yourself. Joy isn't a place you visit. It's a home you build inside yourself, deep. It's not something that happens to you. It's something that awakens in you when you slow down, get quiet, and start listening again. So stop chasing it in things, people, and places. Stop bargaining with life saying, if I just get this one thing, I'll finally feel whole. You're already whole. Joy is not waiting for you out there. Choose to see it. Choose to feel it. Choose to live from it. Not someday, but now, because joy is not external. There is a quiet, often overlooked truth that separates those who merely survive life from those who live it with strength, wisdom, and peace. That truth is this. At first glance, it sounds strange. We live in a world that tells us the opposite. We're told to follow our heart, trust our emotions, chase what feels right, let our feelings be our guide. It's romantic, poetic, and deeply flawed. Because while feelings are important, they are not always wise. They are real, but not always reliable. They are present, but not always permanent. Your feelings can be your companions, but they should never be your captain. Feelings are powerful. They are a part of who we are. They help us process life, connect with others, and stay aware of our needs. They can be beautiful, healing, even divine in their purpose. They change with your hormones. They shift with your environment. They fluctuate based on how much sleep you got, what someone said to you, what you scrolled past online, or how overwhelmed you feel in a single moment. 1 hour, you feel confident. The next, you feel insecure. One morning, you feel full of purpose. That night, you question everything. You're calm one day, then angry the next, often without warning. Does that mean you're unstable? No, it means you're human. If you follow every mood, every impulse, every passing emotion, you will be led in circles. You'll be inconsistent, constantly reacting instead of responding. You'll chase peace, but never find it, because peace doesn't come from following your feelings. It comes from choosing your values, setting your direction, and leading your heart to follow that path, even when it's hard. To lead your heart is to make intentional choices in how you respond to life. It means you don't allow emotions to dictate your identity, your decisions, or your direction. To lead your heart is to choose what matters most, not what feels good in the moment. Think of your emotions as signals on a dashboard. When you feel something, it's telling you something is happening inside. Maybe something needs attention. Maybe something is out of alignment. Maybe there's pain to be healed, a truth to be faced, or a boundary to be set. But just like a flashing light on your car dashboard, emotions are invitations, not instructions. You don't throw the whole engine away because the light is on. You don't panic and let it drive itself. You stop, assess, and decide what to do next. That's emotional maturity. When you acknowledge your feelings without surrendering your life to them. You might feel unloved, but be deeply loved. You might feel like a failure, even while growing. You might feel hopeless, even when hope is still alive. You might feel like you're stuck, even when you're in transition towards something better. Feelings can be influenced by fear, trauma, shame, fatigue, or distorted thinking. That's why you need something stronger and steadier to anchor your life. Values, truth, faith, and inner wisdom. You need to pause and ask, is what I'm feeling aligned with what's true? Because if not, you need to gently but firmly guide your heart back. Your heart is tender, vulnerable, and full of desire. It can be led astray. It can get overwhelmed. It can become discouraged or distracted. That's why you must step in and lead. That means you remind yourself of who you are when you forget. You speak life when all you feel is despair. You choose discipline when you feel lazy. You choose forgiveness when you feel bitter. You choose to stay the course when quitting would feel easier. Leading your heart is not pretending you don't feel. It's choosing what matters more than what you feel. It's deciding, I will not let temporary emotions make permanent decisions for me. It's waking up and saying, today I may not feel strong, but I will act with strength. Strength is not just lifting heavy things or standing tall in public. True strength is often silent and unseen. It's in those private moments when no one is watching, and you choosing emotional freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you feel like. It comes from learning how to discern what is good, what is true, and what leads to peace. Then training your heart to follow that path consistently. That takes work. That takes maturity. That takes discipline. But here's the rewarding: when you lead your heart, you become stable. You gain clarity. You learn how to navigate storms with calm. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. Your relationships improve. Your self-respect grows. Your peace deepens. Your life transforms. Because you're no longer being tossed around by the changing winds of emotion. You're standing firm on something deeper, something unshakable. Your feelings are valid. They deserve to be heard, honored, and processed with care. But they do not deserve the steering wheel of your life. You are not your feelings. You are the one experiencing them. And because of that, you have the power to lead them. So the next time your heart wants to spiral, when your emotions are loud, when your moods shift, take a deep breath. Speak truth over yourself. Reconnect to your purpose. Return to your values and remind yourself, I lead my heart. I do not follow my feelings. I walk in wisdom, not impulse. I choose what's right, not just what feels easy. I am grounded, not ruled by emotions. Let that be your rhythm. Let that be your compass. Because real freedom, real peace, and real power begin when you choose to lead your heart. There is a battle happening every day, not outside of you, but inside. It's not always loud, but it's constant. It happens in the space between your thoughts, in the pause before you speak, in the tension between belief and doubt. The way you think shapes the way you live. Your mindset determines how you show up, how you respond to challenges, how you view yourself, how you treat others, and how much peace you carry into each day. Your thoughts create your emotions. Your emotions shape your actions. And your actions shape your life. That's why you can't afford to let thoughts run wild or let your inner critic narrate your story. You have to be active, intentional, and bold. You must command your mindset with bold declarations. Words that shape your world before the world shapes you. Words are not just communication. They are creation. Every word you speak reinforces a belief, and every belief eventually becomes a decision. So if you constantly speak defeat, you reinforce a mindset of powerlessness. If you constantly repeat fears, you plant seeds of worry. If you constantly say, "I can't," you will eventually live as if it were true. But if you declare strength, you strengthen yourself. If you speak courage, you become courageous. If you speak peace, you invite calm. If you declare victory, you train your mind to rise, not retreat. Bold declarations are not wishful thinking. They are a strategy, a spiritual and mental discipline to train your mind in the direction of growth, peace, truth, and power. Left unmanaged, your mind will default to fear, doubt, anxiety, comparison, and negativity. That's the human condition. That's what happens when we don't actively shape our inner world. Your mind will replay failures, magnify insecurities. Imagine worst-case scenarios and repeat unkind words someone else said to you years ago. Unless you interrupt it, that's where declarations come in. They are not soft whispers of hope. They are bold interruptions to toxic thoughts. People can speak over you. Culture can speak to you. Fear can speak through you. But none of those voices are as powerful as the voice you believe the most in your own. That's why it's critical to take ownership of what your voice says, especially to yourself. This day is going to be overwhelming. Your brain goes to work proving you right. If you say, "I always mess things up," your actions begin to mirror that script. "I have what it takes. I am equipped for today. I am walking in peace. I carry joy. I rise above drama. I bring value into every space I enter." Then your brain starts aligning with that story. Your actions begin to match your belief. Your focus sharpens. Your attitude shifts. And everything around you begins to change because you changed the inner dialogue. We all have old scripts playing in the background of our minds. Things we heard growing up. Things we were told in moments of vulnerability. Things we've repeated to ourselves for years. "I am not who I used to be. I am healing. I am growing. I am strong. I am worthy of love, peace, and joy. I am not defined by fear. I am led by faith. I am stepping into the fullness of who I'm meant to be." Declarations are not fake positivity. They are truth in action. Truth spoken boldly. Truth claimed with courage. You can't just declare once and expect your mindset to change forever. Just like physical training, your mental transformation takes repetition. You must speak it daily, especially when it doesn't feel true yet. Especially when the old thoughts try to creep back in. Especially when circumstances contradict your vision. Every time you repeat a declaration, you deepen its root in your brain. You forge new neural pathways. You train your mind to default to truth instead of fear. Eventually, what once felt like just words becomes second nature. You start to live what you declare. There will be moments when everything around you challenges your declarations. Moments when anxiety is louder than peace. When doubt clouds your vision. When failure whispers lies. In those moments, you must raise your voice louder. Your boldness doesn't mean you're ignoring reality. It means you're redefining it. You're declaring that your mindset will not bow to temporary circumstances. The words you speak fill the space around you. They carry energy. They shift tone. They either bring anxiety or assurance. They either fuel chaos or cultivate calm. So be deliberate. Speak on purpose. When you walk into a new day, a new job, a tough conversation, or a waiting season, you're not waiting for your environment to change. You're changing the atmosphere with your own words. Your mind will believe whatever you feed it. So feed it faith, not fear. Feed it power, not pity. Feed it hope, not despair. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to feel perfect every day. You just need to take responsibility for your inner world. Because when you change your language, you change your mindset. And when you change your mindset, you change everything. There comes a moment, sometimes after struggle, sometimes in the middle of a quiet storm, when you realize that life has been speaking for you more than you've been speaking for yourself. The experiences you've had, the pain you've endured, the labels you've accepted, the failures you've replayed, all of them have tried to write your story. But hear this truth. You are not required to live a life that was handed to you. You have the right and the power to define it for yourself. People project their own fears onto you. They speak from their pain. They judge from their limitations. And over time, those voices start to build a framework in your mind, one that can become a cage if you're not careful. You start living inside the definitions someone else wrote. You start measuring your worth based on someone else's expectations. You start shrinking yourself to fit within the narrow frame of what seems acceptable. There's no denying that life gets messy. There are things you didn't ask for, wounds that weren't your fault, detours you didn't see coming. You didn't choose the heartbreak. You didn't plan the setback. You didn't expect the door to close. But here's the truth. What makes the difference is how you define what happens. One person goes through loss and chooses bitterness. Another goes through the same loss and chooses growth. You may not control what happens, but you control what it means. You control the story you tell about it. You control whether it becomes your wall or your turning point. Sometimes, we live stuck in cycles because we've never been taught to question the script. But now you're awake. And now you can say, no more. I'm taking the pen back. I get to decide what this means. I get to decide where I go from here. You don't need permission. You don't need everyone to understand. You just need to be willing to live from your own truth, not from other people's limitations. Defining your life means you stop living in reaction mode. You're not just responding to what happens. You're creating what comes next. You're not led by drama, by fear, or by the noise of the world. You're led by vision. You wake up and ask, what do I want my life to feel like? What do I want it to reflect? What legacy do I want to leave behind? And then, with intention and boldness, you start living like it. You don't wait until the conditions are perfect. You don't wait for clarity that never comes. You move forward with faith, and you become the definition you've chosen. Redefining your life means giving yourself permission to let go of stories that no longer serve you. When you define your life, you stop chasing approval. You stop molding yourself to fit in. You stop waiting for the world to validate you. Instead, you anchor yourself in truth, your truth. You live from the inside out, not the outside in. You build your life from the inside, with your own words, with your own standards, with your own vision. And in doing so, you free yourself from the prison of performance and comparison. Every new day gives you a blank page. You don't have to repeat yesterday. You don't have to stay stuck in the old pattern. You don't have to let fear, failure, or fatigue write the next chapter. Don't let life define you. Don't let heartbreak define you. Don't let other people's opinions define you. Don't let fear define you. Don't let the worst moment of your past become the lens for your entire future. There is something extraordinary about you. Not because of what you've done, not because of your status, and not because of anyone's approval. You are extraordinary simply because of how you were made. From the very beginning, there was intention behind your design. You were not placed on this earth to merely exist, survive, or wander through life uncertain of your worth. No. You were designed with a purpose, a blueprint woven with potential, resilience, vision, and greatness. You were created to experience joy, real, lasting joy that isn't dictated by circumstances or dependent on achievements. You were designed to carry strength, not just physical endurance, but inner power that stands steady when life shakes, a kind of strength that refuses to give up or stay down. And yes, you were designed for success, Not just material wins, but a life of meaning, impact, and alignment with your trust self. These things, joy, strength, and success, are not distant goals reserved for the elite or the lucky. They are embedded in your spiritual DNA. They are part of who you were made to be. Let's begin with joy. Not fleeting happiness or temporary highs, but deep, sustaining joy that lives within you, no matter what's happening around you. You were never meant to live in a cycle of stress, fear, anxiety, and numbness. You were not created to constantly chase like it's something far away. Joy was always meant to be your foundation. And because it's already inside you, you don't have to earn it. You awaken it. Joy is not the absence of problems. It is the ability to carry light even in the darkness. It's what allows you to smile without needing a reason, to laugh when life gets heavy, and to hope even when nothing makes sense. You are designed to walk through life with an inner sense of gladness that the world can't steal. That's not naive. That's powerful. That's bold. And that's your inheritance. So when you feel overwhelmed, remember joy is not gone. It's waiting to be activated again, through gratitude, through presence, through truth. You don't need the perfect day to feel it. You don't need all the answers. You just need to remember that joy already belongs to you. You are strong, not just because you've survived, but because you are built with strength. Strength is not something you chase. It's something you remember. There's a version of you that has already faced battles, silently, faithfully, sometimes while no one was watching. There are things you've gone through that could have broken you, but you're still here, still standing, still breathing, still believing. That's not weakness. That's strength in its purest form. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet decision to get out of bed when you don't feel like it. Sometimes it's the courage to say no when everything in you wants to people please. Sometimes it's choosing to forgive, to let go, to begin again. Your strength isn't defined by how much you can carry on your shoulders. It's defined by how rooted you are when storms come. It's how you speak over yourself when no one else is encouraging you. It's how you lead your mind back to truth when fear tries to whisper lies. You were made to be unshakable, not untouched by life, but unbroken by it. You were designed with strength that grows deeper the more it's tested. So when you feel weak, don't give up. Go inward. Tap into the reservoir of resilience that's been placed inside you from the beginning. You are more capable than you realize. You are stronger than you feel. And your story is proof that strength isn't always about never falling. It's about always rising. Success. It's a word that gets tossed around often, shaped by culture, measured by titles, judged by appearances. But true success, the kind that brings peace, not pressure, is alignment. It's living a life that reflects who you were created to be. It's fulfilling the purpose you were uniquely designed to carry. You were never made to copy someone else's path. You don't need to mimic the world's definition of greatness. You have your own lane, your own calling, your own measure of success. You were made to rise, not above people, but into your potential. You were designed to build, to create, to contribute, to lead, to grow, to elevate. And whether that's in a quiet role that changes one life or a global platform that impacts millions, your success is significant. Don't let comparison distract you. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let failure make you forget what you're capable of. Your purpose didn't disappear just because things got hard. Your potential isn't cancelled just because you made mistakes. Success isn't a straight road. It includes twists, pauses, and pivots. But every step matters. Every delay has purpose. Every lesson leads somewhere. And with each small act of faithfulness, you're becoming who you were always meant to be. Here's what you must never forgetting: nothing about your design was a mistake. You are not missing anything. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not disqualified. You are exactly who you're supposed to be, and you're right on time. The world may try to convince you that you need to strive harder, do more, look different, be louder. But you were not built to perform. You were built to be whole. Joy is your foundation, strength is your structure, and success is the fruit of your faith, focus, and alignment. You don't have to become someone else to be worthy of these things. You just have to return to who you already are. When you wake up in the morning, don't let the weight of the day steal your joy. Don't let doubt silence your strength. Don't let fear delay your success. Declare it over yourself. I am designed for joy, so I choose to live with gladness, even when it's hard. You are not made to live defeated, discouraged, or directionless. You are not meant to be buried under your past, your pressure, or your pain. As you stand in the fullness of your identity, let this truth settle deep in your spirit. You are not here by accident. You are not wandering without purpose or design. Everything about you, your gifts, your fire, your sensitivity, your endurance, was intentionally crafted for a reason. You were not meant to merely exist, survive, or settle. You were created to live with joy, walk in strength, and rise into success that reflects who you truly are. No matter what life has thrown at you, disappointment, delay, rejection, fear, those things do not get to define you. You are the one who defines your life. You speak over your day. You command your mindset. You lead your heart with truth, not feelings. You choose to believe that joy lives within you, that strength is already yours, and that success is not just possible. It's inevitable when you walk in purpose, live boldly, speak intentionally, and define your life from a place of power, not pain. Because the next chapter is yours to write, and it will be nothing short of extraordinary.